Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Paul Izzo, the president of the YD Red Sox, and I want to thank all of you for coming out here on this beautiful day for baseball for the first day of the playoffs. It's my privilege and honor to introduce our two general managers, Terry Heisey and Chip Russo, and our manager, our coach, our leader, Mr. Scott Pickler. Come on out, Pick. It was a very exciting season. We were all on the edge of our seats the other night watching the results of the games, but it all turned out good for us, and it's my privilege and honor to present to Scott Pickler the 2023 Eastern Division Championship Trophy of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Congratulations.
And now, the starting lineup for your Eastern Division champions, the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. Leading off for the Red Sox, the center fielder out of West Virginia, number 22, Skylar King. Batting second, the catcher out of Cal Poly, number 7, Ryan Stafford. Batting third, the right fielder out of Stanford, number 15, Braden Montgomery. Batting fourth, the designated hitter out of Mississippi State, number 44, Hunter Hines. Batting fifth, the first baseman out of UC Santa Barbara, number 12, Xander Darby. Batting sixth, the second baseman out of Kansas State, number 10, Brady Day. Batting seventh, the shortstop out of the University of Southern California, number 6, Ryan Jackson. Batting eighth, the left fielder out of UNC Chapel Hill, number 16, Casey Cook. Batting ninth, the third baseman out of San Jose State, number 11, Theo Hardy. On the mound, the pitcher out of Kennesaw State, number 28, Smith Henson. Your Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox are led by field manager Scott Pickler. At this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem. Performing the national anthem today is Terry Brady, an actor, vocalist, and director from the Academy of Performing Arts in Orleans. Please welcome Terry Brady for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Playoff baseball has made its way to South Yarmouth. It's the East Division first round as the East Division champion YD Red Sox play host to the Brewster Whitecaps in Game 1 of the best-of-3 series to begin their quest for a Cape League title. Luke West, Poley, Perri, Kitei alongside Perri. YD had been in the playoffs for a while but played for their seed down to the final day. Red Sox got the win against Wareham 2 days ago and are now playing for a chance at a championship. Smith Pinson taking the mound today. The big 6'8 righty out of Kennesaw State has been YD's top pitcher in the starting role this season. And it should be a fun series against a Brewster team that YD has had a lot of success against so far this season.
Absolutely, Luke. Stoked to be here. Can't believe we've made it this far. 44 regular season games have come and gone, and the Red Sox got the #1 seed, and it was not easy. This was a team that was streaky all year, but through about halfway through the season, they didn't lose twice in a row. Hit some rough patches with some lineup turnover, especially after the MLB draft, but as of late, they've been showing that when they're on, and when they're off, they're off. A big part of that has been the pitching staff, which has had its good days and bad days, but Smith Pinson overall has been that guy from the beginning. He was the second guy to start a game for the Red Sox in June, and here he is in August out of Kennesaw State, a really strikeout-heavy guy who has been able to go through at least 5 innings for each of his starts. So interested to see how long he goes today against a Brewster team that YD has been very successful against this year.
YD has won 5 of 6, and we can expect, as we have all season long, Smith Pinson is going to be at his best today. 3-1 record, 2.67 ERA. He made 7 starts in the regular season. Tyler Pederini is atop the Brewster lineup today, and he will hit first to begin this one in our special early 4 o'clock start as we begin the playoff run here for the YD Red Sox in 2023. Underway with a first pitch ball outside from Pinson, and the playoffs have begun. 1-0 count to Pederini. Takes a pitch outside again. 2 balls, no strikes.
Pederini led the Ohio State Buckeyes in batting average this year and was a late season addition for the Whitecaps.
Hit .315 at OSU, and Pinson finds the outside with a strike. That time it's 2-1. Hit .294 in the regular season. Played just 6 games for the Whitecaps. Swings and misses at the 2-1 offering. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Pederini's only seen YD once this season. Had a good one. He went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run scored.
Two is cut on and missed, strike 3. And Smith Pinson starts things with a K in the top of the first.
Next up, out of Florida State, 33, James Tibbs.
So now James Tibbs with the bases clear. The Florida State junior Hit .303 in the regular season. More appearances than any other Whitecap at 40. Wraps the first pitch to the right of the first base bag. And he flies this one out towards left field. Casey Cook out there for YD today. Makes his way back and has it for the second out of the inning.
Nice to see Casey back in the lineup. He had a bit of a hiatus after an eye injury. A scratched cornea kept him out of things with sight problems for a couple of days. But after the advised time taken off by the doctor, we saw him in the batting lineup against Wareham and now back in the starting lineup. He came in as a pinch hitter today, first time back in the field. We usually see him on the right side, but Braden Montgomery has been a regular outfielder over in right field since he came over, so Cook holding it down in left.
Davis Diaz at the plate takes a first pitch up high, 1-0. Diaz, the junior out of Pittsburgh, California, Vanderbilt Commodore, trying to keep this inning going. Takes a strike. 284 hitter in 28 games in the regular season. 16 RBIs. Was 3 for 3 the last time these two met up on July 30th with a run scored off the home run that he hit in a 9-6 Brewster loss. 2 balls and a strike to count.
YD with that pull side shift in play with 3 to the left of the second base bag. The outfield is, however, in the regular positions.
He tops the 2-1 offering foul, 2-2. Red Sox won 5 out of 6. The one Brewster win was here at Red Wilson Field. That was on July 18th. Red Sox have won the other 5 meetings, including the 3 that were played at Stony Brook Field, where these two teams will meet again tomorrow in Game 2 of the series. Game 3, if necessary, will be in a couple of days on Sunday here at Red Wilson Field. 2-2 taken down low, and Diaz has the count full. He walked 17 times in the regular season across 28 games. Pinson's payoff is looped to the right side. That's a base hit. Diaz beats the shift. A ball that might have been popped out to second base instead results in a knock, and the inning continues in the top of the first.
That's a classic Davis Diaz at bat. Battles it off, runs the count up on Pinson, and then ends it with a hit. He has been really, really solid against YD pitching as of late. Started off the season not so hot, but the last 2 times these teams have faced, Diaz has been on fire. Definitely the hottest guy in the lineup against YD.
So now they turn things over to the DH Josh Pearson out of LSU. And he hammers the first pitch on the ground. It handcuffs up on Brady Day and is into right for a base hit. Could have ended the inning, but it took a bad hop on Brady Day and just skittered to his left. It will be scored as a hit. And now runners on first and second for Dylan Leach.
Number 51, Jared Jones.
I beg your pardon, that's Jared Jones. As he leans back in the box. Back-to-back LSU Tigers as the first pitch is down low for ball 1.
Jones has also only seen YD once. He went 1 for 5 with 2 walks. He participated in the All-Star home run hitting contest.
And crushes this one out towards left field. Cook going back. That ball is gone.
And there he goes.
Jared Jones with the first home run of the playoffs. It's a 3-run shot in the top of the first inning, and the 2-out rally for Brewster draws them in front 3-0.
Spoke that one into existence almost. Well, Jones got every piece of that ball. An absolute no-doubter. Cook barely even moved out in left field. He hit his first home run of the season against YD and gets another one there.
Did it the day before the All-Star game. And now back to do it again and bring Brewster out in front here in Game 1. Mason White next up to hit. Second baseman out of Arizona. He takes the ball high. For Smith Pinson, this is now only the second time all season that he's given up 3 earned runs. That one is launched foul, and it'll go 1-1. Only other time was against Kitei. He went 6 innings and got the losing decision, his only loss of the year. Giving up 3 earned. He's done it here in the first inning off 1 swing. 1-1 swing and a miss. Ball and 2 strikes to White. Pinson's delivery is in the other batter's box. It's 2-2. Whitey back shifted to the pole side. In the top of the first inning, Brewster has struck first on the 3-run homer by Jared Jones. Swing and a miss on the 2-2, and that retires the side. Smith Pinson collects a pair of strikeouts, but what highlights the inning is the 3-run homer by Jared Jones. 3 straight hits, all on 2 outs for Brewster, and the Whitecaps lead as we head to the bottom of the first inning. Skylar King will lead off for the Red Sox. Up to the plate for the first time this playoffs when we come back on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Three 0 Whitecaps, bottom 1 here from Red Wilson Field. Luke West, Poley, Perri, Kitei, and Tedeschi, our producer, with you here from South Yarmouth. Game number 45 and game 1 of the Cape League playoffs for the Red Sox, and things did not go according to plan in the first. A 2-out rally and a 3-run shot for Brewster. Skylar King leading off for the Red Sox, showing bunt as he often does on the initial pitch. He has multiple bunt singles to his name. Swings and misses at the 0-1 offering from Fisher Jameson, the right-hander from the University of Florida, who gets the start for Jamie Shevchik's Brewster Whitecaps.
King has been a hit machine since joining YD last week. He's 5 for 8 with 2 runs scored and a walk. That's good for 625 through his first few games.
3 of those hits are bunt singles. Count evens up here, 2-2. King from West Virginia. Joined late in the regular season. Takes inside and has the count full. Native of Columbia, South Carolina. Payoff, flown in the air, right center field. Out in center, Robertson makes the catch. Just a couple steps to his left, and there's one away.
Next up, out of Cal Poly, number 7, Ryan.
Ryan Stafford ended the regular season on a heater. And he is now up to the plate. He was hitless in the final game of the season, but reached base 3 times. The day before that, he was 4 for 5 with 2 doubles. Goes first pitch swinging and comes up with error, strike 1.
The last time YD went down 3-0 in the first inning, it was against Orleans in that disastrous second to last game of the regular season.
Stafford takes strike 2. That 3-0 lead that Orleans got was not decisive as YD came back to tie it, but after that, Orleans stormed ahead for good to pick up the win. 0-2 called strike 3 on the outer corner. Ryan Stafford goes down on 3 pitches, and Fisher Jamison is working his way quickly through the bottom of the first.
YD hasn't seen Jamison yet, which is rare because usually the times these teams have played, the starting pitchers have lined up well. Cal Stevens started most of the games against Brewster for YD.
Big cut and a miss for strike 1 from Braden Montgomery, who's out in right field today for the Red Sox. It's available to pitch as well out of the bullpen if needed. And a swing and a miss for strike 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Fisher Jamison mows through the final 2 batters of the inning and collects 2 strikeouts, retiring the top 3 in order. As we head to the second from Red Wilson Field, it's 3-0 Brewster. You're watching YD Baseball Playoff Edition on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Three 0 Whitecaps in the top of the second inning in Game 1 of Round 1 here in the 2023 Cape League Playoffs. Luke West Poley, Perri Kitei with you, and Tedeschi is producing as always tonight. Brock Tibbetts leads off, anchoring the bottom 3 in the order for Brewster. He takes the ball off the plate 1-0. The first inning highlight was the 3-run homer by Jared Jones. Brewster had the first 2 men in the order retired. Whitey had a chance to get out of the inning off a ground ball, but it found its way through for a base hit. And back-to-back singles led to Jerry Jones coming up to the plate with 2 men on and sending one over the left field fence to bring Brewster out in front. 2-0 the count, and make it 3-0 following the miss by Pinson to Brock Tibbetts. Catcher from Indiana takes a strike, and it's 3-1.
Just finished up his sophomore year over in Bloomington, Indiana.
Hit .289 in the regular season for the Whitecaps. Had a hit in the All-Star game as well. Rolls this one on the ground towards third. It is handled by Hardy. Long throw on to first, and it gets away. Tibbetts on his way to second, and the ball gets out of play, so he will walk in there. And the leadoff man is into scoring position. That's scored as an E5, charged against Theo Hardy.
Bit of an infield shift today as Theo Hardy, who's been playing at short, recently is over at third, and the YD third baseman Xander Darby is at first in place of Dub Gleed. It's rare that we've seen Day and Jackson in the lineup at the same time. The two of them have been rotating at second.
First pitch, a check swing, and James Foncesa says no swing from Dylan Leach, the catcher. 4-man umpiring crew in the playoffs today. First time we've had that all season. This one lifted out towards left center field. Cook moving over to it, and he makes the catch. Runner fakes the tag towards third as Cook fires it in, and Tibbetts will stay put on second as Dylan Leach is retired. That brings up Michael Robertson. Jeffrey Merzel is behind the plate today. James Foncesa on third. Silvio Martinez Jr. is at second base. And Warren Nicholson, the crew chief, is umpiring first today.
We've seen a lot of Jeffrey Merzel behind home this year.
Have indeed. Bunt is shown on the first pitch, but the runner will not move up. 1-0 the count. Cape Cod League went with a new umpiring group this year from United Umpires, who work with a lot of Division I, II, and III conferences around the Northeast. So some new guys this season. That pitch is in there for a strike, 1-1. Michael Robertson at the plate from Brewster. Junior out of Venice, Florida, who plays in his home state for the Gators. Pitch misses off the plate. It's 2-1.
He grew up a Gators fan, always wanted to go to Florida. He calls it the best program in the country this year. They finished second best, only to two of his teammates from LSU.
1 for 3 with a run scored the last time these two squads met. This pitch kicks way away from Ryan Stafford, doesn't know where it is, and now the runner's going to come to the plate. Tibbetts trying to score, and he is safe at home. A wild pitch gone wrong as Brock Tibbetts comes 180 feet from second all the way to the plate and scores to make it 4-0 Brewster in the top of the second.
It's the first time we've seen that all season, someone taking two bases on one passed ball or wild pitch, depending on how that's scored. It looked like it kicked off of Stafford's leg pads, but was a tough one to control in the first place.
Meanwhile, this one hit on the ground over towards second, easily handled by Brady Day, who throws out Robertson for the second out of the inning. Flips it back to the top of the order. But Brock Tibbetts reaching on an error and then scoring on the wild pitch from second base, and Brewster receives a gift of a run in the second inning. Tyler Petterini is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. First pitch swinging. He fouls it off on the left side, and that slices out of play.
Brewster's already flipped the lineup, and YD's only gone through 3 on their side.
Pinson up to 35 pitches. Number 36 is hit well out towards center field. King going back, but plays it at the wall and makes the catch to retire at the top of the second inning. A reach on an error and a score on a wild, wild pitch. Brock Tibbetts comes in to make it 4-0 Whitecaps. Headed to the bottom of the second from Red Wilson Field on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Four 0 Brewster in the bottom of the second inning. The Whitecaps have hopped on the Red Sox here on the road. Hunter Hines trying to get his team back into this one. The home run and RBI champion from the regular season in the Cape League. Hitting just a hair above 260 in the regular year. Leading off against Fisher Jamison, who retired the first 3. Smith Pinson had to throw 36 pitches to get him through 2 innings. Fisher Jamison missing with ball 2 there is now up to 14. Two-0 to Hines off the end of the bat, popped up to the left side. Petterini sprinting after it, and he's not going to get there. Like he did not get a clean read on where that ball was going, was frozen for a couple of seconds before he started reacting.
I'm shocked that ball didn't find a glove. It was hit a mile high. You'd think either Petterini or Leash behind the plate would have had time to get there, but slight miscommunication gives Hines another shot at it.
Just off the plate there to make it 3-1 to Hines, and we have seen what kind of damage he can do in counts like this. Instead, he takes ball 4. First base runner for the Red Sox as Hunter Hines walks to lead off the second. With the middle of the order coming through, Xander Darby, who we mentioned playing in a spot that he hasn't seen a ton of times this season at first base out in the field, but has been a mainstay in the batting lineup. Had a pinch hit single on the final day of the regular season coming off the bench. Flies the first pitch left side, and that will get out of play. Darby in the regular season hit .292 with an .811 OPS that placed him 4th on the team. Takes strike 2 on the outer half. Discussing with our home plate umpire, Jeffrey Merzell. An issue for the Red Sox over the course of the skid they had in the final couple weeks of the regular season was leaving runners on. And Darby takes strike 3. Jamison with some paint there at the top part of the zone. That's his 3rd strikeout. He's recorded all but 1 out in that manner, and now Brady Day will come up to the plate for the Red Sox.
That pitch was perfectly located. Would have been almost impossible to get a barrel on if Darby went for it. It looked like it might run in a little too far, but instead stayed right on that inside edge of the plate.
Brady Day out of Kansas State up to the plate. One of 3 Red Sox with over 100 at-bats in the regular season. Swings and misses to make it 1-1. Hit .267. Appeared in more games than anyone else. This is his 38th of the year. All but 7 he has appeared in this season. That one slips through and it gets away. Hunter Hines will move up into scoring position. That ball just cleanly got right between the legs of Dylan Leach. And so the runner moves up to second, and now a 2-1 count to Brady Day.
Day out of Kansas State was one of a few Red Sox drafted this year, but he did not sign with the Atlanta Braves in the 12th round. Instead chose to go back to Kansas State for another year.
It's the highest active player for the Red Sox to get drafted. And rolls this one on the ground. A high hop. It's snagged by Jones. Throws over to Jamison, covering the base in time. That's a hit probably 90% of the time, but the snag by Jones and the cover by Jamison, well played defensively by the Caps. Hines moves up to third, but now 2 away for Ryan Jackson.
Jones is 6'5". That gives you a lot of space over there on first base. That's the kind of guy you want over there, taking up as much room as possible. He was fully stretched out and made that grab on the backhand.
Ryan Jackson was one of YD's better contact hitters through the late part of the season. Average dipped just under 300 at the end of the year, finished at 293 in the regular season. Swings and misses at a pitch in the dirt. It's a ball and a strike. He was with the Red Sox for just about half the season, played in 20 regular season games. Started his career at Nevada before transferring over to play for the Trojans at USC. Had a strong spring. And lays a bunt down up the third base line, but that will roll foul. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ryan Jackson. Fisher Jamison has been strikeout heavy thus far. He's got 3. Red Sox still hitless, with Hunter Hines, their only base runner, currently on third, reaching on a walk to lead off this inning. 1-2 is pushed right side, base hit. Hines will score. And a good piece of 2-strike, 2-out hitting from Ryan Jackson, an RBI single as the Red Sox answer in the bottom of the second inning. It's now 4-1.
That was absolutely massive by Ryan Jackson to come up in that moment with 2 outs, a runner on third. You're down 4-0. You want to bring home at least 1 to begin to bite back, start the momentum in the batting order. It would have been such a momentum crusher to leave Hines there, but Jackson sneaks it through that 3-4 gap. As you said, nice piece of contact hitting. And YD scores a very crucial first run.
Casey Cook back into the batting lineup. Inserted back in. We talked about what Cook has been dealing with in the top of the inning with the eye injury. Came on as a pinch hitter in the final regular season game. He is playing left field today and saw some action out there in the field in the first and second innings. Has the count even at 1-1. He'll be followed by Theo Hardy. Nice breaking ball there for a strike from Fisher Jamison, the righty, who does not have a super hard fastball. It's in the high 80s to low 90s, but has a great slider to work off it. Pitch in, they'll appeal out to the third base umpire, and they will say no swing from Casey Cook, so the count will even up at 2-2. Also see Jamison throw a little bit of changeup to left-handed hitters, which would apply here in this at-bat to Casey Cook. Only about 10 to 15% of the time. Tough take by Cook, but he's got the count full. Jackson will take off. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Cook, before his injury, was heating up. And flies this one out towards shallow center field. Davis Diaz should be playable for him, and he makes the catch in left center for the 3rd out of the inning. But Ryan Jackson comes through clutch with the 2-out RBI for the Red Sox, and they've got 1 as we head to the 3rd. 4-1 Whitecaps our score. You're watching Windy Baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network. James Tibbs leads off for Brewster in the top of the 3rd inning. Each team traded a run in the 2nd, and it's 4-1 Whitecaps. Tibbs out of the 2-hole 0 for 1 with a fly out to left. Smith Pinson trying to work his way through potentially his first scoreless inning. He's given up 3 runs in the 1st and 1 in the 2nd, a first pitch strike on Tibbs. That'll even the count at 1-1. A full night of baseball around Cape Cod as the playoffs begin. 2 games with 4 o'clock starts. The other one being born in Kitsuit, where the Braves lead the Kettleers 3-0 in the top of the 3rd from Lowell Park against the champions of the West Division, as that one is flown foul. Hyannis and Falmouth in West Division action in the 2-3 series will meet at 6 p.m. tonight from McKeon Park, and the nightcap will be Orleans and Harwich, who will face the winner of this series in the next round. That is a 6:30 first pitch from Eldridge. 1-2 to Tibbs is crushed to right field. Right at Montgomery, though, doesn't even have to move, making the catch for out number 1. Brewster has hit off of Smith Pinson pretty well through these first few innings. 1 has gotten over the fence. In the last inning, they did not have a hit. Brock Tibbetts reached on the leadoff error and then scored from second on a wild pitch. Davis Diaz is 1 for 1, started the 2-out rally in the 1st that ended with a Jared Jones home run.
We've talked about how YD and Brewster have played 6 times and YD won 5 of those, but that one time Brewster took it was at Red Wilson Field, and they put up the most hits YD suffered all season, 17 hits from Brewster. YD put up, I believe, 8 runs of their own, but it was not enough. Brewster just carved up the YD pitching staff that day. Otherwise, though, they've been shut out before.
Strike 2 taken by Diaz, 2-2.
It's a series that has been dominated by the Red Sox for the most part, but at times Brewster has displayed power up and down the lineup.
Last time Pinson pitched against Brewster, gave up just 1 run. 2-2 rides outside. It's a full count. Pull side shift in effect for the Red Sox. And ball 4 upstairs. First free pass from Smith Pinson. As he walks Davis Diaz with 1 out, and now Josh Pearson coming to the plate, the LSU Tiger, who had the second single of that first inning. Diaz is a steal threat. He had 4 swiped bags in the regular season in 28 games. Sweeper taken in for a strike by Pearson. Outfield is shifted slightly to the push side. The shadow being played by Skylar King, who's about 2 steps towards left center and now is making his way back towards straightaway. Oh and 1 the count to Pearson. Theo Hardy was playing in on the grass before that pickoff, and now he is backed up and is creeping back in. A painted strike for Pinson, and it's 0-2.
Pearson has 5 hits versus Red Sox pitching. I was about to say White Sox pitching.
Pinson caught Diaz leaning a bit there, but the pickoff will not generate anything for him. It's still 0-2 to Davis Diaz.
Pearson played 55 games for the LSU Tigers in his sophomore year.
And Pinson can't quite get the back door there for the strike 3 call. 1-2 the count. Pearson DHing today in the cleanup spot. 277 hitter with an 882 OPS in the regular season. And he crushes this one out towards center field. Going back, King at the wall, and that ball is gone. Josh Pearson sends that one over the right center field fence. He had 3 of those in the regular season. It's his first in the playoffs. And it is 6-1 Whitecaps.
Now batting out of LSU, number 51.
Brewster has teed off of Smith Pinson here in Game 1 of this East Division Series. And the Red Sox are going to have a lot of catching up to do through the middle innings. Still just 1 out for Jared Jones, who's already hit a homer.
The good news for YD is even in that one Brewster loss, they put up a good number of runs of their own. They haven't had trouble with Brewster pitching this year. It's been the YD pitching that has been the decisive factor in the wins and losses for the most part.
Jones takes in on the hands to make it 2-1. YD pitching, for the most part, had been absolutely shut down against the Whitecaps this season. They had shut them out. They had given up 1 run before. The one outlier game of the regular season we had already mentioned, and Brewster trying to put together a similar performance here, already with 6 runs through 2 1/3. Jones fouls that one back, and it's 3-2. full count coming up here to Jones. Pinson has given up 2 home runs in this one. And he walked him. 2 walks in this inning from Smith Pinson. It has been an uncharacteristic type of day. Mentioned in the first inning how he had only given up as many as 3 earned runs all season. He did that once. We have never seen anything like this against Pinson so far this year. Ryan Stafford out to chat with him, and now we will see a coach come out for the Red Sox as well. Bullpen is getting active as Ryan Delgado has begun to throw for the Red Sox. Available in middle relief today for YD. A pretty fresh bullpen for the Red Sox, who had 5 innings out of Gage Williams in the regular season finale 2 days ago. He's really the only one that is absolutely shut down today. They could, if needed, use anybody else. We probably won't see the 3 guys that pitched behind Williams either in the regular season finale, in Torres, Scott, and Podeswa, but in an absolute emergency, you could probably still throw them, as each of those guys was limited in terms of their pitch count. Runner on first and 1 out for Mason White. Struck out swinging to end the first. Takes inside. Stafford does well to get to that one quickly and keep the runner held at first. White facing a 1-0 count. And takes inside again. 2 balls, no strikes. White out of Arizona, hit .313 during the spring for the Wildcats. Hit .190 in the regular season. But Pinson behind him here, 3-0.
Delgado, who's warming up, has seen Brewster twice. He's pitched a total of 3.1 innings against the Whitecaps and given up 10 runs. 7 of those were earned.
Pinson finds the zone to make it 3-1. Delgado's best outing of the season came against Orleans in a lengthy relief spot, something that he might be asked to do here. Cracked over to first. It's smothered by Darby. Goes to first for 1. The throw to second is in time. It's a 3-6 double play, and it retires the top of the third. Maybe a little momentum for the Red Sox to bring to their bats, but Brewster has done their damage here through 2.5. It's 6-1 Whitecaps for the Red Sox. Hardy, King, and Stafford 9-1-2 due up when we come back on the other side of the break. You're watching Red Sox baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Theo Hardy trying to get the Red Sox back into this one. They trail it 6-1 behind the Brewster Whitecaps. Fisher Jamison returning to the mound for Brewster. Gave up 1 run in the last inning, but his bats have given him plenty of run support. First pitch strike on Hardy, who's the final bat to come to the plate in the order for the Red Sox. Brewster, meanwhile, has gone through 1 2/3 through their lineup already, with the bottom 3 due up the second time around in the top of the 4th.
And it's been back-to-back LSU Tigers through different times in the lineup that have given them those 5 of those 6 runs.
3-run homer in the first inning from Jared Jones, and a 2-run shot coming in the last frame from Josh Pearson batting right in front of him. We have never seen a team all season hit Smith Pinson around like this. Hardy ahead in the count here, 3-1. But that's been Pinson's main trademark this whole summer, is not giving up hard hits, and he's given up 2 homers today. Brewster has figured him out. Hardy takes ball 4, and so he will walk. It's a leadoff base on balls for the second straight inning by Fisher Jamison. In the last inning, the Red Sox brought that runner around. It was Hunter Hines to score their only run. Brings it back to the top of the order, and Skylar King, who flew out to center his first time.
I'd be surprised if we don't see a bunt here, considering King has 3 bunts singled. There's a runner on first. The only reason Coach Pickler wouldn't is if you're going for more runs than that. It is a 5-run deficit.
There is the bunt shown. He pulled it back, but did not do so in time for strike 1. That pitch might have been a strike anyways. 0-1 the count. See if the bunt sign is still up over at third base. Petterini playing a little bit inside the bag. And a perfectly placed strike on the upper corner to King. And he's down 0-2. Jamison out of the stretch. No chase from King. A ball and 2 strikes. Seen King bunt for plenty of hits. He's done a good job putting pressure on the defense with his speed. Red Sox have had a couple of guys who've got decent speed, but haven't seen any real speed demon type of players at the top of the order like Skylar King has. One-two is reached for and lifted down the right field line. That will drop in for a base hit. Hardy is hustling over to third. He'll get there standing up. And Skylar King, just reaching for that one, sends a poke out into right. And the Red Sox have the first 2 men aboard for Ryan Stafford.
Really well done by Skylar King. He has been seeing it so well since he got here, and just in the nick of time, as R.J. Austin, whose spot he took over in that leadoff, was injured and shut down recently just 2 games ago. But King, coming in from West Virginia, has not missed a beat. 6th hit in 10 at-bats for Skylar King.
And Jackson hammers this one out towards right center field. The ground is covered as James Tibbs makes the catch. Runner tagging for home. The janitor throw nearly got away, but it was backed up by Fisher Jamison. Run still scores. That was almost a gap shot by Ryan Stafford, but the Red Sox will have to be content with a sac fly. Hardy scores, and it is a 6-2 ball game with 1 away for Braden Montgomery.
That really looked like it was heading towards the gap at first and then just traveled a little bit too far, hung up there just enough for Tibbs to get out there. But Stafford does his job in scoring a run, and Montgomery was 0 for 1 with a strikeout swing, and he went down on 3 strikes last time, trying to bring around King.
High bouncer in front of the mound. It's fielded with 2 hands by Leach, who throws over to beat out Montgomery for the second out as King moves up into scoring position for Hunter Hines. Tough break there for Montgomery, a swinging bunt that makes the defense work a little bit. And Brewster's going to intentionally walk Hines. And that will bring up Xander Darby behind him. Some boos rain down from the crowd as Hines has now walked twice in 2 plate appearances.
I think those were boos from the YD dugout. They wanted to see Hines get up there and swing the bat. He's been a home run machine versus Brewster. I think 4 of them versus the Whitecaps this season out of his 13 total.
Precisely why Jamie Shevchuk did not want to throw to him with 2 outs. Instead, it'll be Xander Darby, now first and second. He takes the ball low. Some decent contact hitting behind Hines in the lineup in Darby Day Jackson. Might be able to take advantage of a free base runner with 2 outs as the Red Sox trail by 4. And Darby moves ahead 2-0. This is not the first time by any means we have seen Hunter Hines get intentionally walked. It happened a few times in the regular season, and for the most part it worked out in intentionally walking him. A lot of times you'd see the batter behind him get put out.
Hines has already broken the YD single-season home run record with 13 in the wood bat era.
Led the Cape Cod League this season. Meanwhile, Jamison has fallen behind on Darby 3-0 and at risk of walking the bases loaded here with 2 outs.
Hines is chasing the all-time Cape League wood bat record. That's 16 home runs. 2 guys have done that, once in the late 1980s, once in 2012.
3-0 is a strike on Darby. 3-1 the count. And Xander Darby waiting in. Darby tossed the bat aside. That's a called strike on the outer half, and he will take the walk of shame to go pick it up. It's a full count to Xander as he returns to the plate.
That's a really tough call, and it's been a small strike zone over there on the outside half of the plate, so I can't say I disagree with Darby on this one, but now from a 3-0 count, it's run full with 2 outs.
And after tossing your bat, if it's close, you better swing here on 2 strikes. And he does so and misses. Strike 3, Fisher Jamison, and gets the second strikeout against Xander Darby, and the intentional walk pays off against Hunter Hines. Red Sox, though, do get 1. Brewster still in control of this one, though. We head to the 4th, and we will see Ryan Delgado take the mound for the Red Sox when we come back on the Cape League Broadcast Network.
Ryan Delgado on the bump, and Smith Pinson has been chased off the mound after just 3 innings, giving up 6 runs, 1 unearned along the way, and that is a shocking start to the game for YD. Ryan Delgado coming out. He's had 3 appearances so far for YD from Cal Baptist University. One of those, he went 5.1 innings, gave up just 1 run. As the 0-1 comes in, crushed out towards center field. King going back for it at the wall. He's there on the warning track to make the catch for out number 1. Get the heart racing a little bit after that first batter. Looked like it might be the 3rd one out of the park for Brewster, but instead King playing defense. But back to Delgado. His other 2 outings, 3.1 innings against Brewster combined, we mentioned it earlier, gave up 10 runs. First pitch on the way flies outside for ball 1 to Dylan Leach. Leach swings away for strike 1. Delgado has been up and down, but with Pinson moving out so early, there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders right now. YD doesn't want to burn through the bullpen, especially if it looks like this one might need to go to 3 games for YD to pick it, to come away with the win. But too early to call that yet, just here in the 4th. Ball 3 flies outside. Dylan Leach is 0 for 1 with a fly out. He's been here all season, 3 hits against YD. Big cut and miss there for strike 2 on a 3-ball count. Nice slider from Delgado. Counts full shift on to the right. Day in shallow right field. The payoff outside, ball 4. Leadoff walk. And that brings up Michael Robertson. 1 gone for Brewster. They've scored in every inning so far. 3 in the first, 1 in the second, and 2 in the third. A controversial ball 1 comes in on Robertson. Stafford asked for the appeal. Said he did not go around. The YD dugout is loud in their disagreement. Delgado fires. Strike 1. One and 1 to Robertson out of Florida. Small lead from Leach. Bunt is shown. Back pick towards first. Nicely picked by Darby. At risk of getting away, Day was over there to back it up. No time for a tag to be put on as Leach was caught leaning towards second. 1 and 2 to Robertson. Pitch inside, ball 2. Delgado, the 6'3" righty, going into his senior year, a native of Santa Maria, California. And ball 3 misses just off the plate. There is a lot of room for error on that outside half of the plate, as that one from Delgado, I can't say it was any closer or further away than either of the 2 that were called strikes on Darby in the last inning. Pick off towards first. Called safe. Another close play. Nice move from Delgado. The tag was applied by Darby. Leach seems to have just snuck a hand in there in time.
Yeah,
full count.
Leach jumping mid-air towards second base when he threw back. That was close.
Another pickoff, this time Leach on his feet. Time is called. Darby maybe wants a new glove. And he will get one, tosses it over to Gleed, and gets a new one from the dugout. Not sure exactly why, but I've seen a few videos lately of plays in the major leagues where balls just go straight through a glove because the webbing is loose. Still a full count to Robertson, awaiting that payoff pitch. Here it comes. Runner goes, and it's bumped foul towards the Brewster dugout. Leach will have to return. The count still full, shifted to the pull side in the infield. Pitch on the way, runner goes, bounces, ball 4. 2 walks in a row now off a high number of pitches. They have not been given up easily, but Brewster has been making Delgado work for everything. There's still just 1 gone.
Yeah, tough to walk the 2 bottom guys in the order like that, especially second one to Robertson where nearly had the runner picked off and then had him in a 2-strike count and couldn't finish the job. Now you got to deal with the top of the order.
Tyler Petterini has been the least dangerous guy at the top of the order so far. He's over 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. Delgado's wiggling the glove. First pitch comes in, bounces in front of Stafford. Brewster has scored runs in every inning. YD has put up 1 apiece in the last 2. The 1-0 popped up behind the plate, could be playable, but comes out of play for Stafford, and it's a ball and a strike to Petterini. The Ohio State Buckeye has 2 teammates on YD, both in the bullpen. This time flared foul over towards the bullpen, but further towards the left. Way out of play, and it's 1-2. Petterini's batting .294 for Brewster. The 1-2 chopped up the middle, bouncing slowly, charged on by Day, and he eats it. No time to make the throw. An unlucky bounce for YD. Petterini has the luck on his side, and the bases are loaded.
Florida State, number 33, James Tibbs.
Just rotten luck there on the chopper. Delgado wanted to go after that himself, but it was just too high and over his head. Need a ground ball here.
Was smashed into the ground by Petterini. The infield is not really in, maybe slightly in on the dirt, but still mostly at full depth, that double play depth. Stafford pump fakes a back pick, but decides against it. One and 0 for Tibbs. He has 2 flyouts today. The YD outfield almost at the fence. And the backdoor breaking ball finds the outside half for strike 1. That's the pitch that when Delgado is locating, he gets the strikeouts on. It's his best pitch in his arsenal. Ball 2 drops just low.
Yeah, that was what he carved up Orleans with. His one winning decision of the year. He went 5 1/3 in relief and struck out 6 across that span out of the bullpen.
The 2-1 lined over the head of Brady Day into right field. That'll score at least one. Rounding third, coming for home. And Robertson scores from second. Tibbs with a 2 RBI single, and Brewster tacks on 2 more. It's 8-2.
Tibbs was ready. He knew what was coming ahead in the count there. Delgado was pitching for a double play, trying to send a lot of stuff low. He spiked a couple of them, got that one up enough to stay in the zone, but Tibbs knew where that was going to be and sent a hard hit liner. And Brewster continuing to produce here at the plate.
Pressure's on Delgado now with runners on the corners, still 1 gone. Now first pitch ball is just low to Davis Diaz, who's 1 for 1 and has also reached on a walk. The righty out of Vanderbilt. Strike 1 comes in, and Stafford will give Tibbs the base as he jogs over to second, trying to produce a throw, but Stafford doesn't bite. It's 1-1 to Diaz. And strike 2 paints the bottom half. The infield is now in for YD without that double play in play, the force. The 1-2 on the ground, sneaks through the gap between Darby and Day, beats the shift. The throw comes in, cut off by Darby. Another one comes across. RBI single from Davis Diaz, 2 for 2 now, and has reached all 3 times he's appeared. A hit that would normally be playable by Day if he was at normal depth, but because that infield is in, it's a risk you have to take, and goes Brewster's way. Runners on the corners again now, still 1 gone. Brewster with the decisive 9-2 lead.
Looks like Connor O'Hara has gotten going also in the YD bullpen.
First pitch on the way to Pearson. On the ground towards second. This could be 2. The flip and the turn is not made. Day goes to Jackson. It looks like Jackson tripped up a little bit. Didn't have time to get it off. Another one comes across for Brewster. A second out in the inning, but it's 10-2. The same score that YD beat Wareham with just a couple days ago.
LSU, number 51, Jared Jones.
Jared Jones at the plate now, the first home run hitter of the day. Got the scoring going with a 3-run blast in the first. Time is called. And there will be a meeting on the mound. Coach Pickler coming out. That usually means the ball will be taken. And the call to the bullpen is made. 2 outs, 4 runs have come across in the 4th. Brewster leading 10-2. We'll step aside and be right back on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Jared Jones has Josh Pearson on first base, and he will be the first to face Connor O'Hara out of the bullpen, a guy who has been here since the beginning from Florida Gulf Coast University. He's been a later innings reliever. Deals a first pitch ball down low. We saw him come in for 1/3 of an inning versus Wareham before he sat back down, and Connor Pedeswa came out to finish things off out of Tufts. One and 0 to Jones. O'Hara, the lefty, facing the righty batter, deals ball 2. You wonder, Luke, at what point you get to in this game where YD stops going to the bullpen as much and tries to preserve those arms, hoping to go the next 2 games in this series. There's only been one instance, as ball 3 comes in away, of a team coming back from this many runs this season.
Yeah, I think that was the goal with Delgado, but he got hit around too. Brewster has just done damage on whoever YD has thrown out so far.
On a 3-0 count, O'Hara finds the zone on the strike, ball low. Jones takes, and it's 3-1. 2 outs. O'Hara trying to limit the damage against a guy that we know has the power to go yard. Ball 4. Brewster motoring through this lineup for the 3rd time. It's Mason White out of Arizona in the 6th spot. He's 0 for 2 today. A strikeout and a ground out. Stafford collects ball 1 in the dirt. This one's lined into right field. Pearson will hold up on 3rd as Montgomery gets it in quickly, but White with a base hit, and the bases are loaded once again for Brock Tibbetts.
Next up, out of Indiana, number 45.
And these Brewster bats have come to play. Everybody in the lineup has reached now in this game. Everybody but Tibbetts has reached in this inning. He'll get a chance to do so here now and potentially widen this lead with the bases juiced.
First pitch on the way to Tibbetts. Again, bounced in the dirt. O'Hara's done that against all 3 batters he's faced now on the first pitch. It's 1-0. Pearson, the lead runner on 3rd, Jones on 2nd, and White on 1st. Tibbetts out of Indiana at the plate. Ball 2. Ball 3 gets away from Stafford. He loses it. The runners will all advance, and the 11th run comes across for Brewster. The only force is at first now. Brewster with an 11-2 lead. Ball 4. So that run would have come home regardless as Tibbetts walks to reload the bases, and that brings up Dylan Leach.
And YD has gotten Max Banks now up and going in the YD bullpen.
It's only the 4th inning. And YD has their 4th pitcher up and warming. Brewster still working with their starter. And another ball one in the dirt to Dylan Leach. Stafford wants a word. We said before the game it was dependent on the pitching, and we are seeing that today. YD has not played in a close game. We've emphasized that now for it seems like forever. The score has been lopsided one way or the other, and today YD is on the losing half of that. Not even halfway through the game. They have time to put up the runs. It's just, when will the pitching turn on and stop Brewster from adding on even more as strike one comes into Leach?
Yeah, everybody's had their own problems so far, whether it's been throwing strikes, being a little bit wild, or just getting hit hard. Need somebody to just get some outs.
Leach flares it foul, out of play on the left side, and he's down 1-2. O'Hara could end it with a strike. Instead, puts it on the ground and beats the shift into center field. Another run scores, and 2 will come across as White comes from second. Brewster has more than doubled their run total now in 1 inning, a 7 spot in the 4th, and they're not done. 2 outs, a runner on third. And Dylan Leach, the 2 RBI single on a 2-strike count. Runners on the corners for Michael Robertson. And a first pitch strike comes in on the inside corner. Robertson swings away. He's down 0-2. The 0-2 just pushed foul off the tip of the bat. Count will stay at 0-2. Robertson gets another chance at life. O'Hara with the light blue glove. Robertson fouls it into himself. O'Hara out there representing FGCU, Florida Gulf Coast, his collegiate team. Ball 1 outside. Tippett's on third, Leach on first. Strike 3, swing and miss. Finally, a disastrous 4th inning is over, but the damage has been done. 7 runs off 5 hits and 1 error. Or no errors, excuse me. 7 runs off 5 hits for Brewster in the top of the 4th. They lead 13-2. You're watching YD Baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Bottom of the fourth inning after an almost 30-minute long top half of the fourth, and Fisher Jamison still on the mound. He has been dealing through 4, 2 hits, 2 runs for YD. 3 left on base. Brady Day leads off the inning, and he takes a first pitch strike. YD is now down by 11 runs. Only once this season has a team even come back to tie the game when down 10 or more runs. Day puts it on the ground towards third. It's fielded off a couple of bounces by Perri. The throw nearly pulls Jones off the bag, but he keeps a toe on there, and Day grounds out for the first out of the inning. Chatham was down 12-2 at one point against Kitei. Came back and tied it at 12. That was the final score due to darkness. But it's a tall task for YD, and you'd think they need at least 3 or 4 runs in this inning if they want a chance at fighting for it as we go down this stretch. Jackson pops it up on the first pitch, just out of play on the right side.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're trying to rally, you go for a run here, a run there, but at this point the lead is so big, you're going to likely need at least 1 big inning. And you just got to hope that you get it before time runs out on you.
Brewster put up 7 in the fourth. They had 6 all game before that, and that seemed like a lot. But a 7-run inning is a rarity at this level of baseball, especially in the playoffs. So too to Jackson, put on the ground towards short. Backhanded by Diaz. The throw, 1 bounce in time. Picked up by Jones. YD just has not had good contact off Jamison. Really high-level guy out of Florida. Strong pitching staff down there in Gainesville. And it's the bottom of the YD order with Casey Cook. It's still their second time through. Brewster's already batted through 4 times. Cook hammers it out towards center field, going back to the fence. Robertson is not there, and it's out of here. Casey Cook, the solo shot, puts up at least 1 in the fourth, and it's 13-3.
Good for Casey Cook, man. He has hit the ball really hard. He had that unfortunate decision that he had to be taken out for a few days, and that was really in a spot where he was probably playing his best baseball. Good to see that he has rebounded well. And the Red Sox at least get something.
It's Cook's first home run of the season. The UNC Tar Heel had 4 doubles before this, but none out of the park. That one was out in right center, hit really deep into the woods. We'll see what Hardy does to follow him up as he's down 1, or he's even 1-1, a ball and a strike.
And also, you know, if you're the Red Sox looking past just trying to even up the score in this game.
Hardy swings away, strike 2.
You know, even if you don't end up winning this game, if you can make Jamison work, get him out of the game, and then try to tear through some of Brewster's bullpen so that they can't use it later in the series, that can help you out later on.
Have to look ahead at this point in the 3-game series. The 1-2 to Hardy, cranked into right field, 1 bounce on the dirt, and sneaks through out to Tibbs. So 2 hits in a row now for YD, brings up Skylar King at the top of the order.
Next up, out of West Virginia, number
King is 1 for 2.
Skylar.
He had a single last time around, a bloop shot down the right field line. The lefty out of West Virginia. Facing Jamison now for the 3rd time. First pitch on the way. Drops in there nicely, strike 1. Perri at third is pulled in, waiting on the bunt, which is shown, pulled back, called strike. And it's 0-2. King had a hit on a 2-strike count earlier today. The pitch off the plate, ball 1. The 1-2 on the ground towards second, scooped and tossed over to first by White. That will end the inning. YD gets back 1. They have 1 in the second, third, and fourth, but still down 10 runs, 13-3, heading to the top of the 5th on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Connor O'Hara will see at least a few more from Brewster as he's back to start the top of the 5th. YD still has yet to hold Brewster scoreless in an inning. And Perri cranks it out towards the gap in right center field. Off the fence? Nope, that got over the fence. It is gone. 1 pitch and another one for Brewster. Perri on the solo shot. It's 14-3.
That got out of here quickly. Hit on a line by Perri. And this has just been brutal on the YD side of things. They cannot get anything by these Brewster bats.
First pitch to James Tibbs in there for strike 1. 11-run lead again now for the Whitecaps. Looks like they're going for their own hit record against YD, which was 17 before. They're at 10 already, but with the same run total they had in that one. 4 home runs, 14 total runs. Strike 2. Painted to Tibbs, it's 1-2. This ballpark has played small as of late, but more towards opposing teams as this one hit into shallow right field. Day back for it, called off by Montgomery. The two nearly collided, but Montgomery collected for out number 1. Orleans put up 3 home runs against YD. That was the last time YD was at home. Today, Brewster has 4 already in 5 innings. Casey Cook got 1 for YD, but it looks like it will be too little too late. Brings up Davis Diaz. And O'Hara fires a first pitch fastball on the outside half. The 0-1 cranked foul. Would have probably been home run number 5 had it managed to stay fair, but was nowhere close to the foul pole. Diaz down 0-2. The pitch. at shoulder height, ball one. The infield has gotten rid of their shift on Diaz. He beat it earlier today and would have beat it again if it was on, as he pops it over the infield to right field where Braden Montgomery is. Shift or not, doesn't matter against Davis Diaz, who is 3 for 3 with a walk.
Next up, out of LSU.
Josh Pearson is 2 for 3, a single and a home run. Has also reached on a fielder's choice. And he has Diaz on first. O'Hara fires strike one at the bottom of the zone. He's already up to 31 total pitches in just 2/3 of an inning. And ball one misses just off the plate.
See how long Whitey lets O'Hara go into this one. I mean, no sense really pulling him at this point. But, you know, if he could get you through this inning and the next, maybe, that would be probably ideal. And then he could turn things over to a guy like Max Banks, who's been warming up for a while and has just kind of been standing around for a bit.
Strike two comes in to run the count full. At this point, you want to save all your arms that you can until tomorrow. Brewster is still throwing their starter, Fisher Jamison. They'll keep him in there as long as they can. The payoff, jammed foul. Pearson started at LSU as a true freshman, played in 51 games that year. 35 of them were starts, and he batted .299. Hard to do in the SEC. Flies this one out towards the gap to left center field. The diving Skylar King can't get there. Cook behind him throws the cutoff in towards second. Diaz reaches third, and Pearson on a 7-pitch at bat ends up with the single, his third hit of the day.
Next up, out of LSU, number 51, Jared Jones.
Jared Jones, 1 for 1, a home run and 2 walks. And Coach Pickler will make a call to the bullpen. Max Banks will be on the bump when we're back. We step aside on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Fresh count for Jared Jones against Max Banks. Fourth pitcher out of the YD bullpen here in the top of the fifth with just one out. It's Jones' fourth time at the plate. He has runners on the corners. Started the scoring with a 3-run blast in the first. First pitch from Banks, a nasty curveball in there for strike one. Banks had a couple rough outings to begin with, but the last times we've seen him, he's come in approximately 1 inning apiece and has a high strikeout count and a low run count. The 0-1 causes a big swing and miss. He's down 0-2.
He's a starter at college over on the West Coast at Chapman. He's thrown a lot of innings in single appearances before. You'd love if he could get you through the next few. See how long.
The 0-2, swing and a miss, strike three. Max Banks coming out hot.
Next up, out of Arizona, number 30.
Two gone now, runners on the corners. Mason White at the plate. He's 1 for 3, he singled his last time around. He scored 1 run today. And ball 1 drops just below the zone. Shift coming in with 3 to the right side. The 1-0 somehow beats the shift still into right field. Runners advance. It's a single for Mason White, his second of the day. Diaz scores from third. Pearson on second. It's 15-3.
Yeah, that's hit almost right where you want it for YD, but just squeak through, and it's been that kind of day for their pitching. If there is a small gap in between infielders, the ball has found it.
Shift on to the opposite side now as a first pitch strike comes into Brock Tibbetts. 0 for 2, reached on an error and has a walk. For a guy that's been one of the best all season for Brewster, it's been a relatively unproductive day. He did come around to score from second on that wild pitch in the second inning, the 0-1. Pushed foul to the opposite side, it's 0-2. The pitch from Banks just misses Tibbetts for ball 1. Thought it might hit him. It had that breaking spin on it, so it got away from Tibbetts, but not quite into the zone. He shakes off a couple. The 0-2 on the ground. 1 bounce to Brady Day. The throw to first in time, and that's the side. 2 more added in the 5th. It's 15-3 in favor of the Whitecaps heading to the home half. You're watching YD Baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network. 15-3 is our score at Red Wilson Field, and Ryan Stafford leads off, still facing Fisher Jamison as he rolls this one foul up the third base line, down 0-1 now. Stafford 0 for 1. He has a sac fly that scored a run in the third. The kick and deal. One bounced over to short. Diaz on the backhand. Makes the throw in time to Jones at first, and that's 2 pitches, 1 out for Brewster, continuing their blistering hot pace. Meanwhile, this game has stretched to 1 hour and 50 minutes already, and we've just passed the halfway mark. That is in thanks to the Brewster bats, which have gotten hot and not stopped through 5 innings. Montgomery cranks it into right field. That'll go for 1 base as it rolls in front of James Tibbs, so a 1-out hit, and Manny Garza is coming to the plate, playing for Hunter Hines. Hines in the DH spot, so Garza coming in to replace him there.
And Brewster made it clear that they weren't going to pitch to him if they didn't have to, and no point in wearing out Hines, a guy who has had a marathon of a season, playing pretty much every day for YD. Give him a chance to get some rest here before the rest of this series.
Garza hits it well into center field, and it drops in front. 2 hits in a row now for YD. That dropped in front of Robertson. Brewster is playing really deep, trying to keep everything in front. They'll allow hits, but they want to prevent the extra base ones. A rally brewing for YD. And Leach has come out to have a quick conversation with Jamison. Jamison already above 70 pitches, but for 4 1/3 innings, that's not too bad. Leach taking his time, making his way back. And Darby steps in to await the first pitch of his at-bat. Jamison fires. Strike 1. Six hits for YD, but just 3 runs to show for it. And strike 2 comes in off the plate. That's been the spot for Darby all day. He hasn't swung at any of them. There's been 3 called strikes now for him on that outside half of the plate. The 0-2 pumped foul will stay at 0-2. The pitch high and away for ball 1. YD has runners on first and second, down 12 in game 1 of the playoffs. Darby just underneath it. Puts it foul into the backstop. The wind blowing out towards left field. Another 1-2 on the way outside. Ball 2. Darby flies it foul again. Third foul ball of the at-bat. He's seen 7 pitches, waiting on the 8th. Running it up on Jamison now, who's over 80. And Darby rolls it on the ground, scooped at first. And the toss in time from White. The runners advance to second and third. For Dub Gleed coming in for Brady Day. First time in a while we haven't seen Gleed in the starting lineup, but he's back. Now we'll likely see him at first base. Jackson at second and Hardy at short, as Darby will move to third. That's been the infield configuration we have grown used to. Runners on second and third for Dub Gleed. First pitch on the way, flies high, ball 1. A ball and a strike now with 2 outs to Gleed. Tips it into the glove of Leach, strike 2. Slow chopper on the ground towards short. Diaz moving quickly. And it's out of the glove of Jones off the bounce. One comes across for YD. They've put up 1 each in the last 4 innings now. It's 15-4. And that will be the day, it looks like, for Jamison. There's been a lefty warming up in the pen for Brewster.
Next up, out of the USC, number 6, Ryan.
Scored as an error for Brewster.
Feel good about that if you're YD. Got the starter out of the game finally, and just try to work your way through the Brewster bullpen, limit Jamie Shevchek's options for later in this series.
The call has been made. We'll take a quick break and be back for the last out of the 5th on the Cape League Broadcast Network. YD has that 2-out rally going, and Ryan Jackson is at the plate with runners on the corners. He'll be the first to face Brennan Phillips. YD has seen him once. He faced 10 batters, allowed 2 hits, 2 walks, and no earned runs. Jackson goes swinging at the first pitch. Slow grounder towards second, and that's the inning. Phillips has a short one in relief. We'll see him back in the 6th, but for now, Brewster coming back to the plate. Dylan Leach will lead off the inning when we're back on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Top of the 6th, we'll start with some defensive changes. As expected, Darby at third, Hardy at short, Jackson at second, and Gleed at first. Then in the outfield, Stafford has been moved to center. Skylar King out of the game. Montgomery in right and Cook still in left. First pitch ball came in to Dylan Leach. Banks on the mound. We might see him the rest of the way as Leach swings away for strike 1.
Yeah, he won as many as 7 innings during his college season. We haven't seen anything like that here in the summer, but he's got the arm to go deep.
The 1-1 drops just low. Max Banks, a rare Division III guy, making his way here to the Cape League. 6'4", just finished his freshman year there. The 2-1 curve drops in. A native of San Francisco, California. The 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Max Banks looking good here. Through 4 batters faced. 2 strikeouts already, no earned runs. 1 out for Michael Robertson in the 9th spot. It's his 4th time around. He rips the first one foul, nicely scooped by someone in the bleachers who got it off the 1 hop. 0-1.
It was a kid. They're getting fist bumps from Gary Wilson.
I'm sure Gary's fired up about that, finding something to be excited about today. It's been a brutal one here for the YD faithful crowd. It's even at 1 for Robertson with 1 out. Banks fires. That curve has so much break on it, strike 2. Not only does it have the vertical break, it has the slider break as well, so a slurve, if you will. The 1-2 called strike 3. That same pitch just painted on the outside. And Max Banks, 3rd strikeout in 5 batters faced. There's 2 gone here in the 6th.
Saved his best stuff for the playoffs, I guess. This is some special stuff from Max Banks. He's locating well, and that breaking ball has some noticeable movement.
Swing and a miss for strike one by Tyler Petterini. 5th time now through the order for Brewster. Petterini is 2 for 4, a single and a home run, along with a strikeout and a flyout. What a mouthful. The 0-1. Chopped softly, foul up the first baseline. It's 0-2. The pitch ride's just high, ball 1. The 1-2 cranked out towards right field. Montgomery has it on the run. And finally, YD has worked a 1-2-3 inning at the unlikely hands of Max Banks. Headed to the bottom half of the 6th. YD needs a rally. It's 15-4 Brewster. You're watching YD Baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 6th. Casey Cook leads off for YD versus Brennan Phillips. He threw just 1 pitch as the first reliever out of the pen for Brewster. To end the inning, Cook, the home run hitter of the day for YD, fouls the first one off. The 0-1 pushed foul again. He's down 0-2. Pitch on the way, swing and a miss, strike 3. Cook goes down on 3 pitches, and once again, first guy at the plate for YD is retired. That brings up Theo Hardy, who has a walk and a single. He's reached 2 times today.
And now that you got to the bullpen, just about having long at-bats, being competitive, and just trying to drag this out if you're YD as much as possible and try to force Brewster's hand.
Hardy flies it a mile in the air towards shallow right field. Coming over from second, White calls everybody off, and there's 2 gone quickly.
Next up, out of Northeastern, number 14, Greg Bozzo.
Greg Bozzo came in relief of Skylar King. First pitch to Bozzo, who is still hitless here on the Cape. The 0-1 wrapped just foul up the third baseline. It's 0-2. Ball one in the opposite box. Stafford, who's now in center field, on deck if it gets there. Greg Bozzo, a recent addition. Oh my gosh, it's getting long here. 2 YD. Played for the Keene Swamp Bats of the NECBL. The count moves to 2-2. Bozzo out of Northwestern University swings away, strike 3. And it's a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom half as well. The quickest inning we've seen today, both sides scoreless. And it remains 15-4 heading to the top of the 7th on the Cape League Broadcast Network.
Now batting.
All Brewster headed to the 7th. It's 15-4 Whitecaps. James Tibbs will lead off against Max Banks, who worked a 1-2-3 inning, including a pair of strikeouts. This has been the strongest outing of the season for the righty out of Chapman. And gets Tibbs to roll over on the first pitch in shallow right. It's rushed over to first by Jackson, and he just beats out Tibbs for the first out of the inning. Did not see a 1-2-3 inning on the Brewster side of things at all. Saw one prior to that last inning for YD coming in the first, but both teams went 6 up, 6 down in the 6th. One away for Davis Diaz, who has 3 singles and a walk. He's reached all 4 times. And the first pitch is down low for ball 1. So looking ahead in this series, these two teams will meet again tomorrow. That game will be at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. The 1-0 rides up high, 2 balls, no strikes. No projected starter yet for YD, but a couple of guys that could probably throw their name in there, including the likes of Finnegan Wall and Jackson Kent. 2-0 misses for ball 3. Darian Smith is the projected starter for Brewster. The senior out of Southeastern University, set to make his 3rd start of the year. He has pitched once against the Red Sox this season. His ball 4 falls down low to Diaz, and he has reached for a 5th time. And it was in the win, but he gave up 6 runs across 3 2/3. So the Red Sox looking for some more of that similar type of magic against him tomorrow, but still 3 innings to go in this one. One away for a pinch hitter for Brewster as Hunter D'Amato takes strike 1. He is hitting for Josh Pearson, the DH. D'Amato, the senior switch hitter out of Fairleigh Dickinson. Rockets that one foul, and it's 0-2. He was 0 for 1 in his pinch hit opportunity against the Red Sox on July 30th, the last meeting between these two squads at Stony Brook Field. Banks 0-2, flies side. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Max Banks, plenty of experience pitching in big games at the Division III level at Chapman. But safe to say playing up a level here in the CCBL. As the 1-2 rises high. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Last spring as a freshman, pitched his team into the Super Regionals at Chapman. After they dropped their opening game of the regional, he pitched the final game that sent them on.
Nicely played by Hardy. It was close to dropping a second time, and if it had bounced one more time, there wouldn't have been a play on it, but Hardy did a nice job tracking it and charging in.
Hitter is Jared Jones, struck out swinging his last time after a home run and 2 walks his first 3 trips. Midway down, 5th time through the order for Brewster. Leading 15-4 over YD, 7 of those 15 coming in the top of the 4th. Brennan Phillips is in line for the win in this game for the Whitecaps, as the loss right now set for Smith Pinson. Takes down low 2-0, and Jones is ahead. Pinson has suffered 1 losing decision this season. It came against Kitei. Red Sox were swept in the regular season by the Kettleers, who are having a similar time in their 1-versus-4 game against the Bourne Braves, as neither top seed in each division is faring well on day 1. This ball is hammered left field. Cook back, stumbling. He makes the catch. Fell down and still found that one in the glove. And that retires the top of the 7th. Max Banks works a second straight scoreless outing in relief. We head to the bottom of the 7th at the stretch here from Red Wilson Field. 15-4 Whitecaps on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Ryan Stafford leading off in the bottom of the 7th inning for YD, who have stabilized things over the last couple of innings, thanks in part to Max Banks, who has retired the last 2 frames scoreless. Stafford takes a strike from Brennan Phillips, who we would imagine is going to go pretty deep into this one, if not the entire way. Stafford is 0 for 2 with a sac fly in the third. Big hack and a miss on the 0-1 offering, and it's 0-2 to the normal catcher out of Cal Poly, who has played some corner outfield for YD, and today has moved into center field after Manny Garza took his post behind the plate. Check swing, the appeal to first, and that ball hit him. They'll say Stafford, though, went around, and that's a strikeout. That's a tough way to go. Third strikeout from Brennan Phillips. And there's one away in the bottom of the 7th for Braden Montgomery.
Out of Stanford, number 15, Braden Montgomery.
Phillips on the bump is a 6-foot, 195-pound lefty out of Oklahoma State. Working out of the wind. And the switch hitter Montgomery takes a check swing foul ball. Phillips won an Oklahoma State championship in high school, native of Owasso, Oklahoma. Was player of the year in the city of Tulsa, according to local newspaper, as both a junior and a senior, as Montgomery lays into one out towards left center field. That ball is long gone. Solo shot, Braden Montgomery, and look for that one behind the trees.
It ping-ponged around and hit 2 different trees like a pinball machine. I love it. The lead is cut to 10. The rally is starting for sure.
Second home run of the season for Braden Montgomery. 2 out of the last 3 runs YD has scored have been via the solo shot. This time it's the power hitter out of Stanford that did it. Base is clear for Manny Garza. Watches the first pitch down low. One oh the count to Manny. And he takes a pitch outside. 2 balls and no strikes. It was Garza's birthday earlier this week, turned 21. Talked about him being a twin already and how he shares a first name with his twin brother, who also plays Division I baseball at Tennessee Tech. Two-0 paints the black for strike one. He's a native of Rio Grande City, Texas. His first language was Spanish, growing up in southern Texas. He takes ball 3 outside. 3 balls and 1 strike to Manny Garza, 1 away in the bottom of the 7th inning. YD has scored the game's last 2 runs, but it is 15-5 Brewster. Garza sends a bouncer to third. It's waited on by Petterini. Stumbled a bit, but fires over easily to first for the out. And there are 2 away, as Xander Darby will sashay on up to the plate.
Sachet, I like that. Adding to the season-long vocabulary list.
We were reaching the point where I might as well just say whatever, right?
We're getting there.
Darby goes after the first pitch, lined into left center field. That's a base hit. Cut off before it reaches the wall by Tibbetts. That will limit Darby to a single, but he's got his first hit of the day. And now the fellow Californian, Dub Gleed, will look to keep the inning going with a runner on first, 2 down.
The anteater out of UC Irvine, Dub Gleed.
Gleed came on as a pinch hitter in the 5th. Reached on an error on a play that brought in a run. Pops the first pitch foul, 0-1. So no balls and a strike. Bottom 7 with 2 outs. Phillips has thrown 23 pitches. He's now through 2 innings of work out of the bullpen. Jams it foul, and it's 0-2. Phillips looking to limit the damage to 1. Whitey has scored 1 run 5 different times, but yet to get more than that in 1 inning. One ball, 2 strikes now to Gleed. Ryan Jackson on deck for the Red Sox. Wanted to wear that one on the shoulder, but it just missed him.
Gleed was an All-Big West second-team selection in 2023. He is usually a third baseman, but Woody Hayden, who played for the YD Red Sox last year, was injured early on in the season. And so Gleed took over at shortstop. Hayden was also supposed to come play here, but because of his injury, sat out the summer. We asked Gleed if he'll stay at shortstop. He said, no, Woody's coming back. I'll probably be at third next year.
3-2 hit and run, and this one's pushed into the gap. Darby gave it a look. He's going to try to score. Here comes the relay, and now Darby will put on the brakes. Got the wave sign and rounded third, but came back to it. Dub Gleed, meanwhile, pulling into second with a double. And the California boys in the middle of the order come through for YD as 2 in scoring position now for Ryan Jackson, who's already delivered on a 2-out RBI in this game back in the second.
I know there's 2 outs, but I'm still a little surprised Darby didn't go. I think he had the time, and I also think Brewster might have just ate it and let it score. The cutoff came in towards second, not towards home. That could have changed once they saw Darby holding up, but still.
Jackson lifts this one up towards the right side, and a nice play made by Jones. That ball could have spelled trouble, but instead, Jones, who has been a wall at first base, handles it and ends the inning. Red Sox get 1 on the solo homer from Braden Montgomery, his first of the postseason. We head to the 8th. It's 15-5 Caps on the Cape League Broadcast Network.
Now,
15-5 our score. Top 8, and Max Banks is back to the mound for the Red Sox. It will be Mason White to lead off for Brewster, who have not scored since the 5th inning. They scored in every inning up to that point, 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, 7 in the fourth, and 2 in the fifth. But empty in the last 2, although it has not mattered thanks to that sizable lead they've built. White goes down 0-1. He is 2 for 4. Struck out and grounded into a 3-6 double play to begin his day, followed up by 2 singles.
He could bunt up the third baseline right now, and there is nobody close to over there. At this point, I think that would just be not a very nice thing to do, just unnecessary. Let him swing, but
takes ball 2 up high.
With that shift on, there is nothing but space up the left side.
catch it off the end of the bat. You could push it up the line far enough. There's plenty of room. Instead, he goes swinging and twirls it foul. It'll go 2-2. Max Banks has been good out of the bullpen today for YD. He has pitched completely through the last 2 innings. They have been scoreless innings. Up to 2 2/3 now. 1 hit, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts for the righty from Chapman. Misses outside. It's a full count to Mason White. Exclusively out of the stretch, the payoff. Wrapped over towards second base in shallow right. It's fielded by Jackson, and he throws out Mason White for the first out of the inning. Banks' pitch count, very economical as well. He's just at 41, now through 3 complete innings. Brock Tibbetts will hit with the bases empty. In the top of the 8th, this game has picked up considerably in terms of pace over these last couple of innings. We were tracking halfway through this one to play a game that would last nearly 4 hours, but looks like we're going to come in way underneath that now. Interesting, some new rules compared to the regular season. As Banks steals in a strike, and it's 0-2. So now in the postseason, games will not be called early due to darkness. The Red Sox, of course, that's why they pushed their start time up to 4 o'clock. Brewster will be playing at 4 as well, as these 2 teams meet there tomorrow. 0-2. Reach for and golfed foul. If we were to get a darkness delay, then we would resume the game the next day where it stopped, regardless of score. In the regular season, if you play 5 innings, the game is final, but in the postseason, you need to play 9. 0-2 comes up high and in, 1 ball, 2 strikes. That happened last year where they had to play about an inning the next morning, and then the next game would go on regularly scheduled, so you would play again that evening or afternoon, I guess, as the 1-2 comes in, bounced in, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Additionally, obviously there will be no ties in the playoffs, and the automatic runner on second is not in effect in the postseason either, so you just keep playing baseball as normal, and you play as many innings as you need to determine a winner. 2-2 to Tibbetts, and a hit him. That one just slipped away from Max Banks. It's a second free pass. And it puts a man on first with 1 out for Dylan Leach, who is 1 for 3.
Next up, out of the zoo, number 27, Dylan Leach.
Pinch runner will come into the game to run for Brock Tibbetts. It'll be Darius Myers out of Louisiana Tech who will run for him. Banks getting back to it. YD bullpen has gained some activity once more. Fastball is lifted foul, and it's 0-1. There's a righty out there throwing. And it is Connor Podeswa, who we thought might be the next guy in line to take the ball if needed if Max Banks couldn't go the whole way through this game. Podeswa pitched in the regular season finale. 0-1 bounced in. Bazo finds it quickly, and it's 1-1. Podeswa went 1 1/3, gave up 2 hits, 1 run, no walks, and 3 strikeouts for the man out of Tufts, who has some YD connections. Swing and a miss on the 1-1 offering, and that's strike 2. His dad was an assistant coach under Scott Pickler here at YD for a number of years and left that post a few years ago to go to where he now is as an assistant coach with the Yukon Huskies through batting practice today to the Red Sox. 1-2 is crushed down the right field line. That's going to drop in, carry near the wall. Myers is hustling in. He'll get the stop sign at third as the relay comes up. And it's a one-out double for Dylan Leach. That puts two in scoring position.
That ball was crushed perfectly on a line up towards first base. Can't place it any better for Leach. And Myers, the pinch runner, was held up at third. Looked at first like he might have a chance at home, but Montgomery got there quickly in the relay. Absolutely could have gotten there in time.
Scott Pickler out of the dugout, and he calls to his bullpen. We will see the right-hander in Tedeschi come in here with one out in the top of the eighth, and we will step aside. 15-5 Whitecaps. You're watching playoff YD Baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Connor Tedeschi out of Tufts takes over in the top of the eighth inning for the Red Sox. Brewster leading YD by 10. Tedeschi, the righty, bent over at the waist as the Red Sox will bring the infield in. A sweeper drops low and in for ball one. He went 1 1/3 innings, the end of the final game of the regular season 2 nights ago for the Red Sox in a 10-3 win over Wareham. Inning and a third, 2 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. 0-1 is tapped foul, and it's a ball and a strike to Tedeschi, the righty from Tufts. Heading into his junior year, a native of Waterford, Connecticut. Played for the Mystic Schooners before coming here to YD this season. That pitch is off the plate, and it's 2-1. 2-1 record, 4.82 ERA in the NECBL across 13 appearances in the bullpen this summer. Also played in the Futures League the last 2 summers for Norwich and New Britain. The 2-1 sinks low, and that's ball 3.
It's a D3 kind of day for YD with Max Banks and Connor Tedeschi doing a nice job representing Division III athletics, Chapman and Tufts. We had one guy out of Tufts who's transferring to Duke at the beginning of the year. Jimmy Evans had a bit of a rough go of things before quickly exiting from the active roster.
Those two are the only 2 Division III guys currently on the YD roster, and they've both seen action out of the bullpen today. Interesting that Tedeschi's father, who coaches at UConn. The 3-2 comes in, ball 4, and that'll load the bases. That's a program that has had really good success over these last few years when they've become not only a top 25 team, but even this year a top 10 team off the back of many Division III transfers. Bring guys up from the Division III level, and not only are they competing at the Division I level, but they're near the top of Division I. They're competing with the best of them. Top of the order with the bases loaded. Tyler Perri hammers one foul. Perri is 2 for 5 today. He has singled and homered. Left-handed swinger out of Ohio State. Oh, one, he moves his hands. It's smothered by Bazo, and that's 1 ball, 1 strike. In other news around the league, we'll check in on the scoreboard. Bourne leading Kitei at 14-5, so pretty similar to the game we're seeing right now with the 4 seed leading by a large margin. That game is in the bottom of the 8th. And the late starts are beginning to get going with Hyannis leading Falmouth 3-2 in the bottom of the 2nd inning, and Harwich and Orleans still deadlock 0-0 in the bottom of the 1st. At Orleans-Harwich series, we'll see the winner of this one. 2-1 comes down and in. Bazo knocks it down. It's 3 balls and a strike. Tedeschi will make his way back out onto the mound. 3-1 the count. Still just 1 out. Double play is in effect. Red Sox have turned 1 of those today. And the 3-1 is upstairs. Ball 4. That'll bring in a run. Myers running for Tibbetts scores. And 2 straight walks from Tedeschi. And that, unfortunately, will mean it is not a scoreless outing from Max Banks, as he was responsible for that runner who just came in. James Tibbs at the plate. First pitch drops down and in for ball 1. Max Banks is also responsible for 1 more. Dylan Leach on third is now the pitching coach out of the mound for YD. We have seen that last pitch he threw a lot through the early part of this outing in the bullpen for Tedeschi. He's just missed that back foot breaking ball and hasn't really gotten any swing and miss on it yet.
There's nobody warming in the pen. There's some football toss going on in the pen, but no baseball tossing happening.
Tedeschi was certainly capable of going the rest of the way. Started 10 games for Tufts during the spring. Still pitching out of the stretch with the bases juiced. And the 1-0 hammers the zone for strike 1. Tibbs is 1 for 5. He has put the ball in play a lot every time he's been up. But they found gloves. 2 flyouts to right, 1 flyout to left, and a ground out to second, in addition to his base hit. Two and 1 to Tibbs. Brewster, a team that ended YD's season a year ago. It was 1 round further than this, though, in the East Division final. Tibbs blasts that one foul, and it's 2-2. The Red Sox fell in 2 games to the Whitecaps, who went on to drop a rematch of the previous year's championship series to the Bourne Braves. Brewster last champions 2 years ago when they knocked off Bourne to win the title. Breaking ball is in there for strike 3. Into the back door. The sweeper from Tedeschi retires James Tibbs. First time he hasn't put a ball in play today, and that brings up Davis Diaz, who has been the best part of this batting lineup for Brewster and getting on base, and the power behind him. And Pearson and Jones did a good job bringing him in. Each of those guys hitting a home run. His pitch is off the plate for ball one. Diaz remaining in the game. Pearson was pinch hit for in the 7th. 2 changes made by Jamie Shevchek. Scott Pickler has also made a number of subs. He has pinch hit for 3 spots in his batting lineup.
That was nicely done by Tedeschi coming back from the 3-1 count.
2 balls, no strikes to Diaz, who has walked twice in this game in addition to his 3 singles. .2-0 is hammered past the diving effort from Theo Hardy and into left field. 1 run has scored. Here comes the second. The throw is cut off, and it's a 2 RBI single. What a day for Davis Diaz. And that will make it 18-5 Whitecaps.
Next up, out of Fairleigh Dickinson, number 16, Hunter D'Amato.
Davis Diaz 4 for 4 with 2 walks. Hunter D'Amato, who got his last at-bat as a pinch hitter, is 0 for 1 on the day, back at the plate for the second time. Diaz has now scored 3 runs and driven in 3 runs. Jared Jones, who hit a 3-run homer, tied him for the team lead with 3 RBIs, in addition to Josh Pearson, who's been removed from this game. He had a 2-run homer and an RBI single, or rather an RBI fielder's choice. Check swing fouled off, and it's 1-1. One ball and 1 strike. A foul tip, and it's 1-2. Game that has lasted 2 hours and 46 minutes so far, but still an inning and a half to go about.
Brewster still has 15 hits. That's 2 shy of 17, which they have done against YD once this season.
1-2 is flown out towards shallow left. Cook coming in, loses the hat, but camped underneath and makes the catch. And that's the inning. 3 more for the Whitecaps, and they re-extend their lead. 18-5 is the largest lead of the game for Brewster, headed to the bottom of the 8th. You're watching YD Baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network.
Out of UNC Chapel Hill.
Bottom of the 8th inning here from Red Wilson Field. Casey Cook leading off for the Red Sox. Brennan Phillips back to the mound for Brewster and pumps the first pitch ball high. 1-0 the 18 runs off 15 hits, 1 error for the Whitecaps. 5 runs off 9 hits, 1 error for the Red Sox. Swing and a miss from Cook. And it's 1-1. YD has left 7 men on base. Brewster has left the same. 1-1 taken for ball 2. Casey Cook is 1 for 3. His 1 hit being his first home run of the season, which he clubbed over the center field fence back in the 4th inning. Painted strike on the inner half, and it's 2-2. Cook wanted to go after that one, but held it up. A right decision as he has the count full, 3-2. Crowd was very large at the start of this game. Has dwindled a bit, but as the 3-2 comes in, it's spoiled foul. Overall, I think there's still a decent amount of people here given the score line. Normally, when we've seen scores like this, which hasn't happened often, but a few times this season, there's nobody sitting in the outfield anymore, and they're sticking it out there. 3-2, Cook rockets it into right. That's a base hit. Cook is 2 for 4, and he leads off the bottom of the 8th for the Red Sox with a base knock.
Nicely done for Cook. If he can get anything out of today, it's just getting back into that rhythm he had found at the plate shortly before his quick break, and now he's back picking up right where he left off. Garrett Ostrander pinch hitting for Theo Hardy.
Hardy finishes the day 1 for 2 with a walk. Sweeper clips the corner for strike 1 from Phillips, who is up to 37 pitches now through 2 1/3 innings of work, coming in partway through the 5th. Oh, 1 to Ostrander finds the zone on the inner half for strike 2. Brewster's got a righty warming up in their bullpen. Oh-2 to Ostrander, and he fouls it off. Still nothing in 2. So Brewster maybe bringing in another guy behind Phillips. With the game tomorrow, if you came in and pitched 1 inning clean, 0-2 inside, you would probably still be available for a potential Game 3 happening on Sunday. So if you wanted to bring in a pitcher that you think is probably not going to pitch tomorrow, but you might want to use in a potentially decisive Game 3 just to get an inning in, might not be a bad idea. Swing and a miss from Ostrander on the 1-2 down low. He goes golfing for strike 3. And there's 1 away in the bottom of the 8th inning. Flips it back to the top of the order. And Greg Bozzo will get his second at-bat after coming on as a pinch hitter for Skylar King. Struck out swinging in the 6th.
Bozzo got hard contact a couple of times at Wareham. It's just found outfield gloves.
This one's not going to find a glove. That's sent into right center field, and that's going to get down to the wall. Cook rounding third, and now he will stop. And it's a double from Greg Bozzo, his first hit of the summer on the Cape League.
Nicely done. It's the hard contact we've seen, this time to a gap instead of a glove. Runners on second and third, 1 out.
See another pinch hitter here for Ryan Stafford. And now we will see a coach out of the dugout for Brewster. Drew Cron will hit for Stafford, the outfielder out of Yukon. Manager out of the dugout, and that's it for Brennan Phillips. Whitecaps will turn things over to a new arm in the bottom of the 8th. one away, and an 18-5 Whitecap lead. 2 in scoring position for the pinch hitter and Drew Cron. When we come back, you're watching YD Baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network.
Number 3,
Drew Cron coming up to the plate as a pinch hitter to face off against Luke Lyman, the 6'4", 210 righty, transferring in to West Virginia. Kicks and deals a first pitch ball high to Cron, who was added to the roster at the deadline and came on as a pinch hitter against Wareham in the regular season finale. He walked in his only plate appearance. Shoots this one down the first base line and foul, and it's 1-1. Lyman, the big righty, transferring into West Virginia by way of Morehead State in Kentucky, where he was a member of the Ohio Valley Conference All-Freshman team. Played in the Valley League during the 2022 and 2023 summers. Has spent the past couple of weeks with Brewster. 1-1 check swing. It kicks away from Leachy, and a run will score as Casey Cook comes across. Bozzo moves up to third. 18-6 now our score in the bottom of the 8th as Cron stood in for that one. Lyman will head back out to the mound. Has pitched once against Yarmouth Dennis this year on July 21st in an 11-1 loss for the Whitecaps. That was his debut. He gave up 3 earned over 1 inning of work. In the regular season, he came out of the pen 3 times, 15.75 ERA, as he gave up 7 runs across 4 innings, all earned. 2-2, hit in the air, right side, foul ground. Jones giving chase back to it and now slowing up. That ball skies out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count to Drew Cron. Outfielder from UConn. And the pitch comes outside, 3-2.
So I'm looking at this Connecticut Insider article about Drew Cron, and he had a nice year freshman season at UConn, but didn't appear very many times. And he said that he's playing summer ball because he wants to improve not only on the field but with his mental game and be more confident at the plate going into his sophomore year.
Fouls that one off himself, and it remains 3-2. He was playing previously this summer with the Mystic Schooners in the NECBL. That's where he and Podeswa, the other addition that came at the deadline for the Red Sox, came from. Hit .289. And he shoots this one left side, base hit. Cron with an RBI single that brings in Bazo. And it is 18-7 following the RBI. An 11-run game for Braden Montgomery, who was 2 for 4. And his last time up, he launched one out into left center field that cleared the fence by a good 50 feet.
And it's the first time YD has put up more than one run in an inning, blading 2 here so far in the 8th.
Montgomery pops the first pitch foul. Red Sox have had a decent offensive showing. They've put up 7 runs, 12 hits. They've just never really been in the game. After Brewster took the lead, it was 3-0 and 4-1, and then it was never really close after that. Montgomery takes downstairs, 1-1. Braden in the transfer portal out of Stanford. He was the Pac-12 preseason player of the year going into this season, had a solid year with the Cardinal. Played for Team USA. Rolls this one over towards first. It's scooped up by Jones. He goes to second for 1. And that will be it there. YD hoping they could get the call that Davis Diaz jumped up to try and turn that before the ball was in his glove, and arguing that everybody should be safe there, but not according to the second base umpire Silvio Martinez. It's a fielder's choice for Braden Montgomery, and there are 2 away for Manny Garza. Eleven-run lead for the Whitecaps as Garza stands in. He pinch hit in the 5th inning for Hunter Hines out of the DH spot. First pitch runs in for ball 1. He is 1 for 2. He grounded out to third base his last time up following Braden Montgomery's homer. One-oh is reached for and fouled back. One ball, one strike. Pitch drops down and in, and it's 2-1. Garza, the switch hitter, batting left. Waiting in, and now the crowd has begun to file out here from Red Wilson. It's looking a little bit more barren than it was in the last half inning. Garza sends this one to third, and the catch is made by Perri on the fly. The line out ends the 8th inning, and the Red Sox score 2 and strand 1. 18-7 our score, headed to the 9th from Red Wilson Field on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Top 9, 18-7 the score, with the Whitecaps leading as Connor Bedezwa is back on the mound for YD. Game 1 of the first round in the East Division playoffs in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Red Sox pitted against the Brewster Whitecaps. Ball 1 taken by Jared Jones, the only batter who didn't come up to hit for Brewster in the last inning. Best of 3 series here in the first round between YD, the top seed in the East, and Brewster, the 4th seed, but it has been the underdog in this series that has handed it to the favorites so far. 18-7, Brewster leading on the back of a 7-run 4th inning that really put this game out of reach early. 2-0 sweeps in for a strike to Jones, who has homered and walked twice since 0 for 2. Checking in around the league in the bottom of the 9th, Bourne leading Kitei at 14-8, as the Kettleers have made that one a little closer, but Bourne still pretty comfortable. Strike 2 at the top of the zone for Jared Jones. Hyannis has opened up a 7-2 lead over Falmouth. That game in the top of the 4th, and Harwich and Orleans still scoreless in East Division play in the bottom of the 2nd. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and pitch way up high. Ball 3. Best of 3 series. Game 1 today. Game 2 is tomorrow at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. 4 o'clock start between these two. Game 3, if necessary, would be back here at 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. 3-2 pitch. Taken low, ball 4. Third walk for Jared Jones, who individually has been on base 4 times. Now Mason White coming up to the plate. Or rather, we're going to get a pinch hitter as Dimitri Diamant out of Georgia Tech will hit for Mason White. And he takes a strike. Oh, 1 pitch comes in. Took a check swing that squirts between the legs of Bazo. That will move the runner up to second. One ball, 1 strike, the count. Diamant, the yellow jacket from Las Vegas, Nevada, went to Bishop Gorman High School. Very famous and prestigious high school for its athletics. Off the end of the bat, takes the 1-1 foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count. Pedezwa kicks and fires. Inside, 2-2. So the Red Sox trying to get Pedezwa through this game. Their bullpen still has guys hanging out there, but nobody throwing. 2-2, just off the corner. Bazo did his best to frame that one up, but it just missed, and it's a full count. Three balls, 2 strikes. Pitch, swing, and a miss, strike 3. Pedezwa collects the strikeout, and that's the first out of the top of the 9th inning. Darius Myers now will hit for the first time after pinch running for Brock Tibbetts in the last inning. Came around to score a run after Tibbetts was hit by a pitch. First pitch sweeps down low for ball 1.
It's 7:13 p.m. There's probably 20 to 30 more minutes this game could be played, and that's stretching it. It's already starting to darken here with a lot of cloud coverage.
And this ball is rocked out towards center field. Coming over on it, Stafford at the wall makes the catch. Runner will stay put at second. And that's the second out of the inning. So we're going to have to work a little quickly here through this final inning, but hopefully we can get it played and there will be no delays until tomorrow. Dylan Leach will now hit. The catcher is 2 for 4 with a walk and a double. Highlighting his day, also has a base hit. Pull side shift in effect for YD. And he hammers this one out towards right field, going over on it from second. It's just out of the reach of Ostrander. Jones is stopped at third as the throw comes in quickly. With that shift in effect, Ostrander was backed up into shallow right. And a ball that would have been a single every day of the week saw Ostrander actually have something of a chance at it, but he came up just short. And now they are on the corners for Michael Robertson. Tedeschi whips the first pitch high for ball 1. And the 1-0 sweeps in there for a strike. So YD has used 5 pitchers in this game. Smith Pinson, Ryan Delgado, Connor O'Hara, Max Banks, and Connor Pedesva. Runner goes on the 1-1. Pitch falls in the dirt. They check over to third, and they say no swing, which is certainly agreeable for Robertson. Runner moves up.
Robertson actually does not have a hit today. He's reached twice on a walk, but one of few, if anybody else from the starting lineup, that's hitless today.
Pitch is in there for a strike. He, along with, if we're just talking spots in the lineup due to pinch hitting, Brock Tibbetts / Shadarius Myers, the 7 spot in the order, the only other one that is hitless, but that spot has also reached 3 times. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Robertson. And called strike 3 on the inner half of the zone. And that retires the top of the 9th. Scoreless inning for Connor Pedeswa. We head to the bottom of the 9th here in Game 1. 18-7 Whitecaps on the Cape League Broadcast Network. We have made it to the bottom of the 9th, and if you have stuck around, we certainly appreciate it. It's 18-7. Brewster has led the whole way against YD after a 3-run first inning. Xander Darby will lead off for the Red Sox against Luke Lyman, and he takes the first pitch down for ball 1 in this game. Darby is 1 for 4. Started 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and singled in the 7th in his last at bat. 0-1 is crushed out towards right field, but Tibbs coming over makes the catch. And that's the first out. Two more to go for Luke Lyman to get. He's up to 16 pitches after coming in to get the last 2 outs of that last inning. Dub Gleed now hitting for the Red Sox after coming in the 5th as a pinch hitter for Brady Day.
Ripped a nice RBI double.
And sends this one on the left side. That's a base hit. Past the glove of Perri. Gleed is now 2 for 3. He's reached base in all 3 plate appearances.
Next up, out of USC, number 6,
Ryan Jackson to the plate for YD. Jackson, one of a few guys that has stuck this one out the whole way and has not been subbed out for. The first pitch is outside for ball 1. 5 changes have been made to the batting lineup for Scott Pickler, bringing in Greg Bozzo, Drew Cron, Manny Garza, Dub Gleed, and Garrett Ostrander. As he takes in on the hands 2-0. The ones that remain from the starting lineup, Casey Cook, who is waiting on deck, Ryan Jackson, Xander Darby, and Braden Montgomery. 2-0 the count. And the pitch taken high for ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Jackson climbing back in. Lyman fires in a strike, and it's 3-1. Really, this day was fine offensively, as we talked about a little bit in the last inning. 7 runs off 13 hits for the Red Sox, but similar to the lopsided win, the 1 win for Brewster in this series as Jackson takes ball 4. It was the Brewster offense that highlighted this game. First and second for Casey Cook, 2 for 4 with a single and a homer.
Number 16.
Over in Kitei, that one just finished up. Bourne took game 1, 14-8. Bourne has won every single game they've played this season at the Kitei field.
Road team has won every game of that series between those two. They split the season series 3-3. Kitei won all 3 at Doran Park and Bourne won all 3 at Lowell Park and Kitei. So the trend continues there as Cook fouls this one back, and it's 1-1. The only favorite that has the edge right now is Hyannis over Falmouth as they lead at 8-2. Only home team that's having a good night so far. Orleans hosting Harwich is still tied at 0. Cook sends this one in the air out towards the line in left, coming over to it. Myers camped underneath and makes the catch. And that's the second out of the bottom of the 9th. 2 away for Garrett Ostrander. First and second. And we have made it down to the final out of this game. Ostrander goes first pitch swinging, flown out to right field, trotting on in. Tibbs makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Statement win for Brewster here in Game 1 of the East Division Series as they knock off the YD Red Sox by an 18-7 score to begin the best of 3 between these two sides. Red Sox, for the first time all year, will be playing for their season tomorrow afternoon with their backs against the wall in an elimination game against these Brewster Whitecaps on the road from Stony Brook Field. Perri, this was almost exactly the same as what we saw when Brewster picked up the win here just about a month ago in South Yarmouth. It was an offensive explosion for the Whitecaps. The YD offense, like we've said time and time again throughout the late innings of this one, was fine, but you're not going to win a game if you give up 18 runs.
No, you are not. And for YD, this was absolutely deja vu from their only loss to Brewster at home. That one was also a blowout where Brewster put up 17 hits. They had 16 hits today. 18 runs. Brewster looking really hot. A team that was on a 6-game losing streak coming into today. But this is not necessarily surprising. Looking at how YD ended the season, they had blowout losses and blowout wins. They've been a bounce-back team all year after big blowout losses, like when they played Hyannis on the road in Connecticut, and then came back the next game and won that one by a good margin. But YD has some thinking to do. I'm interested to see who the starter will be tomorrow for YD on the mound. And if that guy can't go at least 5 innings, I think things are looking grim for the Red Sox.
These two teams will meet again tomorrow, as we certainly hope the Red Sox have a bounce-back performance, another one that they've had all season in them, as the Red Sox will meet up with the Brewster Whitecaps tomorrow at 4 from Stony Brook Field. We'll be on the air for it as always, as we will have the radio broadcast for you between the Red Sox and the Whitecaps. Elimination game with Brewster taking a 1-0 series lead. 18-7 is your final, and Game 2 of the best of 3 tomorrow afternoon. Until tomorrow at 4 from Stony Brook Field. So long tonight from South Yarmouth. For Perri, Kitei, our producer Anna Tedeschi, our entire crew, Luke West, Poley saying so long. Brewster wins Game 1. Final score, Whitecaps 18 and Red Sox 7. Good night, everyone.